Welcome to the ChampCar iRacing series. This is round 7 from Sebring in the BMW M2 CS racing car. Round 7 of 2025's ChampCar iRacing series, the iRacing series of ChampCar Endurance Series, where we pay great ChampCar prizes. We introduce iRacers to ChampCar. We also provide a great place for ChampCar Endurance Series members to race against each other, practice some of the tracks of the real world series, and also just keep their skills sharp, have something fun to do on a weeknight. So many great things that different people get out of this series. Round 7 brings us to Sebring International Raceway in the BMW. Weather looking absolutely Florida gorgeous, partly cloudy with not too much wind to blow the flags all about. This is a beautiful and historic track, 3.6 miles, so much sports car heritage around this place, and the bumps tell a story. 17 turns with a 1-hour race and a compulsory pit stop ahead of us. This is the highest horsepower car of the 3 that you're going to see this year in the ChampCar iRacing series. Means we are going to be flying and leaping across all of the bumps for our 1 hour of action, bringing you live coverage on HJBC and ChampCar Live channels. So with a 1 hour race ahead of us, we're heading towards the tail end of this qualifying session that will set the grid for the rolling start for the 1 hour of racing. Michael Polisek currently up top, Ryan Pucktel just a couple of tenths behind him. If you've got a particular friend or teammate or someone you're trying to keep your eye on, champcar.hjbc.live has live timing for all of our racing this year, including this qualifying session and the race to come. Lincoln Fox third in the qualifying, Jared Collins fourth, and Joshua Soto, one of the Florida natives, in fifth at the moment. But he is getting a little too accustomed to the Florida soil. He's run wide out of turn 1, another one of the super challenging corners of this racetrack, many of them crazy challenging. Turn 1 though, you apex against the concrete wall. So often drivers run wide out of there. And then you carry heaps of speed off of turn 5 through Big Bend turn 6 here to the biggest braking zone at the lap, next to the hotel at turn 7. And everyone looking like they're picking 4 cones as their braking marker. This is a car with a lot of straight line performance. The turbocharged BMW 6-cylinder, it's basically 3 or 4 generations of descendants away from the BMW E30. Everyone navigating that big braking zone, heading in towards the afternoon and evening here at Sebring. So this lap obviously not going to be a flying one for Joshua Soto as he's got out of the way of the traffic, but just sat in 2 cars behind Michael Polisek. Cameron Sennhauser, I think, in between. Logan Sennhauser, in fact, of the 2 Sennhausers between Joshua Soto and Michael Polisek. 25 drivers have put down qualifying times. Pole is a 2:17.002 and is 70 thousandths of a second back to Ryan Pucktel. And in fact, within 1 second of pole position at the moment is 9 drivers. Could get even more competitive with just 1 or 2 laps left in this session. Joshua Soto puts the headlight flashes on. Logan Sennhauser will jump out of his way. Sunset Bend, long corner, super bumpy. Seeing Soto head for a late apex as he opens up the power and tries to carry as much speed as possible onto the front straight to start a flying lap. He might get 2 more as he goes up through the gears of the BMW M2 and then down 1 gear, carrying 4th gear towards the apex of turn 1. This BMW Cup racing car very close to the road going model, so close that the wireless remote start key fob is velcroed to the center console in these cars. Still got the road car ignition system, road car gearbox. The most race car bits going on is the roll cage and the steering wheel and a couple of the buttons, but all of the air vents, transmission tunnel, so many road car bits still in this BMW. Down into second gear he goes at the turn 7 hairpin. No purple sectors happening throughout the lap, but some PB sectors happening from Joshua Soto. He runs a tiny bit wide at Cunningham Corner just there after the S's and heading towards Tower Bend. Getting a little hot into the braking zone, not quite making it to the apex that you'd want. That would then set you up through the next change of direction and towards Tower. It's actually dropping 2/10 through there, dropped 2/10 through the previous part. I'm not seeing how this could be an improvement of a lap for Joshua Soto. He gets just a little bit of the curb, going through Gendebien and Le Mans onto the Ullman Straight. And moments away from the checkered flag waving, so this looks like it will actually be the last lap for all of these drivers. Not going to get around to start another one, as the 20 minutes of qualifying elapses right now. So Michael Polisek, Joshua Soto, all of these drivers coming around Sunset Bend right now are about to be greeted with the checkered flag. For Joshua Soto, his best lap of this session so far is a 2:17.7. And he manages a 2:17.8, just a little bit of time slipping through his fingers in the mid part of that lap. Means no improvement. And he'll be looking at no better than the third row. A few other drivers looking to complete some improvements. Ryan Carwile for one. Tim Wire just crossed the line a couple tenths short of an improvement. So got Johnny Sartorelli, got Bowie Sewin, Alex Harrison, other drivers out there with a lap still to complete. Carwile's trying to take the wider line to a late apex through Sunset Bend. Every time, every lap, you take a slightly different line through there, you catch a slightly different bump, and it's like a brand new adventure every single time. Ryan Carwile will jump himself from 11th to 6th, so a good final lap coming through in the end for Ryan Carwile. Alex Harrison not using as much of the racetrack out of Sunset Bend. 15th to the checkered flag. 15th is where he will stay, 2 tenths away from an improvement. Mark Kruger practices pit entry. Sartorelli with a much tighter line and a big slide underneath the bridge at Sunset Bend to close out his lap. Drivetrainer teammates taking their pit entry. Austin Zabrowski very wide through Sunset Bend with a 2:19.9 to improve on. He will with a 2:19.8. That might be everyone for qualifying. With an hour race ahead of us, everyone's going to need to make one pit stop at Sebring. Look at what the wind is doing to the flags over the bridges at the beginning and end of the pit straight. That is just a very gentle 3 to 4 mile an hour breeze to ruffle the flags but not rip them from their masts. And this looks like it'll be the final order after qualifying. Championship leader Michael Polasek, the pole position, less than a tenth ahead of Ryan Puchtel. And then Jared Collins and Lincoln Fox on the second row, also super close times. Joshua Soto and Ryan Carwile, super close times, both in the 2:17.7s. Joshua Soto could have done with every little bit of improvement, but just stayed ahead of Carwile, whose late lap leapt him to 6th on the third row. Fourth row is Kyle Robertson and Ian Giebler. And all Aaron row 5. Aaron Smith and Aaron Brown. Johnny Sartorelli has qualified 11th with Bowie Suen in 12th. Tim Wire in 13th. Sean Fritz in 14th. Alex Harrison with 15th and Bill Woods in 16th. And Mark Kruger is in 17th. Kyle Lockrow in 18th. Orlando Herald 19th and Andy Kosick 20th. Remaining drivers with qualifying times were Kevin Collins in 21st, Logan Senhauser in 22nd, Austin Zabrowski in 23rd, Cameron Senhauser in 24th, and Matt McGee in 25th. Aaron Reed, Nick Love, and Tavon Calvin, no qualifying times. 26th, 27th, 28th, they'll be sorted by their iRating as a tiebreaker in the absence of qualifying times. Field will form up behind the beautiful Ford Mustang FR 500S pace car for a full formation lap of Sebring. The time in session now 6:20 p.m. Racing towards the late evening, but just before sunset to complete this 1 hour race. So with half of the season completed, we begin the back half of the season. This is race 7 of 12. Michael Polasek leads the points with Jared Collins just behind him. So 279 from a possible 300 for Michael Polasek. He has many wins to his name at different circuits and across different cars so far in 2025. Jared Collins has been an incredibly consistent point scorer. It's going to keep him on his toes. Ryan Puchtel in 3rd. Ryan Carwile in 4th, and then Bill Woods, Aaron Brown, Ian Giebler, Aaron Smith, Paul Darling, and Andrew Kosick as the top 10. Wind's actually picked up a little more. The wind's gone to about 7 miles an hour from the west at the moment. Gusting just a little bit. We'll have a look at the schedule. So with $2,000 of ChampCar credit to go to our season champion to put them in a real-world race seat at a real-world racing event in the ChampCar Endurance Series. This is the calendar. It all began at Indianapolis Motor Speedway in the Global Mazda MX-5 Cup car. Also racing in the BMW M2 and the Toyota GR86 this season. Tracks in green are real-world tracks of this season, this year, this calendar year of the ChampCar Endurance Series. So those favourites include Daytona, Road Atlanta, Watkins Glen, here at Sebring now with VIR, Mid-Ohio and Road America still to come. After this race, June 18th, it'll be about a month till the next round, July 16th. And the Wednesday beforehand, the week ahead, we also have practice races, so plenty of ways to get involved and stay involved. And then there is also 3 250 Champ Buck randomly drawn prizes for everyone who completes 4 races in a row. Doesn't matter where you finish, if you complete 4, you go into the draw. And we've already drawn, I think Jeffrey Rockwell won the first from completing rounds 1, 2, 3, and 4. We'll see at round 7, and so at the end of next round we'll be drawing another prize. And then after October, if you want to get your teammates together, if iRacing team endurance is your thing, we'll be hitting up the favorite racetracks once again. Daytona, VIR, Road America, and Sebring for what we expect to be 3-hour, 2-driver enduros, and there's more prizes on the line there, like $200 for every race win and $200 to the season champion. So if you want to participate in iRacing with drivers from the ChampCar Endurance Series, it's open to everyone. And if you want to compete with your teammates towards the end of this year, pencil all of that into your diary, forum.champcar.org, or on Discord, all of the information for how you can be part of it. And we are about to get going on the Ullman Straight. The pace car's about to pull in. 60 minutes on the clock will begin. Michael Polasek and Ryan Pucktel are that front row. Out of Sunset Bend with the green flag waving, the BMWs roar into life down towards turn 1. And that is a superb start from Michael Polasek. Down the inside, Ryan Pucktel and Jared Collins. A couple of cars come together in the tail of the field, 3-4 wide coming off turn 1. Drivers out through the grass and more carnage in the background. Zabrowski, I definitely spot out there. Sennhauser comes back on the track. That's missing the braking zone for someone. Your top 4, your front 2 rows unchanged through turn 1. Aaron Brown picking up a few spots as we head to turn 7. Flying start for Michael Polasek, putting a couple of car lengths between himself and Ryan Pucktel. Taking the traditional line through here to just leave an extra car width to the outside so you can change direction and carry speed to approach Tower Turn. One of the few places on this racetrack that gives just a little bit of camber, a little bit of banking, and lets the track work with you. Sure looks like Jared Collins in third. Having tried to dive down the inside of turn 1, now under a bit of pressure from Lincoln Fox just behind him. Ryan Carwell having made some spots up into 5th as Joshua Soto is one of the drivers who dropped quite a few off the race start. Seeing Lincoln Fox now trying to set up a run with a late apex through Le Mans and onto the Ullman Straight. These cars in a straight line, 350-ish horsepower, just keeps on pulling in a straight line, as we discovered at Daytona, with speeds exceeding about 160 miles an hour from the BMW. They're not quite reaching that speed here at Sebring. The straight's not quite as long, but still, at the end of the Ullman Straight, the end of the pit straight, reaching quite a bit of speed. Fox again looking for a late apex, looking to flow speed onto the straights, close a couple of car lengths, put Jared Collins under pressure into each and every braking zone. No overlap heading into 1, but still just keeping that blowtorch and that pressure on. Looks like Ian Giebler and Aaron Smith side by side, 8th and 9th. As they come through, Giebler has just stayed ahead of Aaron Smith as they approached turn 1. Joshua Soto, 16th at the moment, just in behind Bill Woods. 2 drivers that have been quite quick this season, I'd have thought. So maybe these 2 will go forward together towards the braking zone at turn 7. Joshua Soto stays behind. But Logan Sennhauser and Matt McGee will battle side by side through there. Looks like whatever that livery is going on for Matt McGee is just slightly ahead of Logan Sennhauser's traditional black and purple. Matches, I believe, the Sennhauser racing team Mazda of the real world, and these two will not give it up. Now side by side heading towards Tower with that camber that I've mentioned a couple too many times already. Got to imagine that the drive with the inside line is going to be the winner. Looks like G just will stay ahead, tail kicking out for both drivers as they put over 300 horsepower of BMW power to the ground. And a whole lot of change up front here. So despite the pressure from Lincoln Fox, Jared Collins still holds on to third. Michael Polisek's race lead hardly over a second. Ryan Puchtel closing a little bit, now just beginning to find that slipstream as it's a single file train of BMWs to the final corner. Later in the race, you'll be staring directly into the sun as you brake and turn into this corner. That's where it gets its name from, as you face directly west, also the direction the wind is coming from, at an increasing speed. And this is the driving style of Lincoln Fox. It's not about minimum speed at the apex. It's about late apexes, getting to full throttle early and carrying speed on the straights, but a bobble on the bump in towards turn 1. Jared Collins runs wide. Lincoln Fox gets to the inside, heading towards turn 3. Fox has the inside, Fox is ahead and into a podium position. Lincoln Fox moves ahead of Jared Collins as the bumps were not fully respected at turn 1. Elsewhere, completing the top 10 in the rest of the field, Kyle Robertson in 6th, Aaron Brown having moved up into 7th, Ian Giebler, Aaron Smith and Johnny Sartorelli you see now battling 8th, 9th and 10th into the hairpin at 7th. Sartorelli probably very excited by that album that's been announced for Sabrina Carpenter based on that livery. Alex Harrison's up into 11th, and here's Tim Wire and Bowie Sewin battling it out for 12th. Kyle Lockrow, Bill Woods, Joshua Soto. There's some very quick drivers in behind this two-wide rolling roadblock as they battle for position. Looking to go round the outside, Tim Wire will chop off Bowie Sewin and move up into 12th, not without running a bit wide and also kicking the tail out, being eager with the throttle. Bill Woods gets sideways there, but keeps Joshua Soto behind. They're almost nose to bumper as they head into Tower Turn. Riding all across the curbs, you've got to be careful here at Sebring not to cut the corners with all of the paved runoff that there is at the Le Mans sequence of corners right there. No dramas for anyone, but I've definitely seen many races here at Sebring where drivers have gotten too much curb, cut it, and gotten an iRacing slowdown penalty that's in the end been rather costly. Polisek and Puchtel both clambering a legal amount of curb, but still getting plenty of it. Polisek flowing speed through the corner. Puchtel with that tight late apex carries more speed onto the straight and gets within 7/10 of Polisek, and we might have a race lead battle beginning to happen here between these two. Everyone's starting with 36 litres, which is about 9 or 10 gallons of fuel in these BMWs. You can imagine a turbocharged 6-cylinder consumes that pretty quickly, so it will be by about 25 minutes in this race that we see everyone pit for more fuel. What it does mean with the large fuel cell in these cars, anyone could pit now and make it to the end. The pit window opens very early, but it doesn't run very late. So we'll keep an eye on the pit strategy. 3 drivers, perhaps 4, have already stopped. Bill Woods is in the lane right now, but Mark Kruger, Tevon Calvin have been through, and I would need to look at whether Andy Kosick did his strategy that he's practiced a couple of times of pitting coming to the green flag of the race. Okay, so one source of timing says he has, mine says he hasn't, but I'd believe that. 28 seconds with a 58-second lane transit time, pretty similar to what Bill Woods has done. Bill Woods, I think, making a sensible decision to pit away from that group of Tim Wire, Bowie Sewin, Kyle Lockrow, Joshua Soto that was looking to get a little elbows out. There's battle for the podium as well. Lincoln Fox leading Jared Collins, Ryan Carwile feeling some pressure from Kyle Robertson. Once again, it's about the slipstream and the straight line performance. Here's Soto struggling somewhat, dropped away from Wire and Sewan, but has just gotten ahead of Lockrow, so he's beginning to regain some positions. Ryan Carwile's the driver most at threat. You couldn't fit another car in there. Kyle Robertson's not looking for the inside of turn one. Again, Jared Collins has an issue sort of coming into turn one, loses some momentum, maybe gets a bit of a slide. And so now Ryan Carwile's right with him. Kyle Robertson's right with that. Kyle Robertson turns in on the grass. He's spun at the apex of turn three, right up behind the other car, lost his reference and his visibility, and he's put half a tyre in the grass and found it offered no grip at all. And he's half spun that car going into turn three and lost just a couple of spots. Lucky to not be hit, but he'll carry on without any damage. But just an easy mistake to make when you're trying to follow so closely. Let's go into the replay here. He just catches the grass trying to follow Ryan Carwile. We're just about a week from a very major iRacing update. One of the changes that it's done is it's taken away iRacing clubs and given drivers the ability to choose which flag to fly attached to their iRacing account. Well, about 80% of our drivers have chosen the Stars and Stripes, the United States flag. The interesting ones elsewhere, Kyle Robertson, to match his helmet, is flying the Jamaica flag. That might be a slowdown penalty for Ryan Puchtel, cutting too much. Sorry, from Michael Polasek, Ryan Puchtel goes to the lead of the race. So at Le Mans, I said you can't cut too much of the curb, and I think Michael Polasek may have. Joshua Soto is flying the flag of Antarctica, and both Michael Polasek and Ryan Carwile are flying the flag of South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands, which I believe to be actually also quite close to Antarctica. New race leader, Ryan Puchtel. Michael Polasek's recovered, just a car length behind him, and just got a little bit of the dirt. You can see why grass doesn't grow there on the outside of turn one. Gets disturbed far too often by racing cars to be able to put down roots. Next amongst them, Michael Polasek joins an illustrious group of many, many, many drivers to kick up the dust around Sebring. A change for the lead also brings the rest of the pack just a tiny bit closer, like Lincoln Fox, Jared Collins and Ryan Carwile. Here's Ian Giebler and Aaron Smith side by side. Giebler in the red Summit car, Smith in the yellow one with the inside line, and by the looks of things, better traction but a worse internet connection. Johnny Sartorelli, as I mentioned, makes quite an impression. 3 leaders to be exact. Around the outside of him goes Kyle Robertson, though, through Cunningham Corner. A very, very bold move, then slides across the nose to claim the inside into Tower Bend. Alex Harrison watches all of this taking place from 11th position, and this is a good battle. What we hope for in ChampCar iRacing Series, that not only are there great prizes on offer and great racing up front, but that everyone who takes part finds someone that can give them a great battle. So you also look, Logan Sennhauser and Cameron Sennhauser have found each other in 16th and 17th. And Matt McGee and Sean Fritz found each other 18th and 19th. And Bill Woods, after his pit stop, is just closing in on Andy Kosick. That's for 23rd at the moment, but both of those drivers, these two here, will cycle forward when everyone else makes their pit stop that they will be required to do by virtue of 9 gallons not being enough to race one of these cars for 60 minutes. Andy Cossack started the season driving the BMW in an all-brown livery because he thought the car was the proverbial, and then he added flames to it because he decided it's not quite as bad. It's a flaming pile now, in his opinion. So that's the explanation, apparently, from Andy Cossack. Bill Wood's last lap was about a second and a half quicker. So I think Woods has got some pace here. He climbs a little bit of that curb, but not enough to be penalised by it. The race lead, is Polasek going to sit behind Puchtel, or is he going to try to fight back? Looks pretty close through turn 7. Lots of fans there at turn 7 sitting and standing on the grounds of the hotel. So they're not too far from the restaurant and bar as they watch on. Just found the website. 7 Sebring Raceway Hotel. What are the specials? Early bird special steak for 2. Includes 1 bottle of house wine. $55 plus tax and gratuity. Not bad. Not bad. We've got race for 2 up front. We've got race for 2 for the podium in 3rd position. Fox and Collins, Ryan Carwile just dropping back a little bit on the last lap. And then many other battles all through the field at the moment. Some drivers might get to about 20 minutes into this race and decide that's when they'll make their leap to pit lane, particularly if they think they could make more progress getting a bit of clean track for a moment. That's a good run from Joshua Soto. Looks to the inside. No, Tim Wire goes to the inside. And Joshua Soto will be offered the outside into Sunset Bend. She will take Soto up into 12th. Going to take a look at a replay here for Matt McGee. Now, is he going to get a bit of grass? And yep. Ooh. You can't park there, mate. But it goes to what I was taught here, which is either don't touch the grass or go all 4 on the grass. If you just put your outside tyres in the dirt on the outside of Le Mans corner there, that's the kind of thing you will do. And that's a bit wide out of turn 5, just ahead of Soto. I think we've got a lap down car there. Might be Tevon Calvin, not sure. Big outbraking manoeuvre is too deep from Aaron Brown, and Aaron Smith crosses over under and gets to the head of this group that has Ian Giebler, Kyle Robertson and Johnny Sartorelli just behind. Alex Harrison might have picked up a slowdown last lap because he was actually more than a second and a half, almost 2 seconds off his personal best. And now looks a lot closer to Soto in 12th than he does to Sartorelli in 10th. About to be 8 laps completed of a predicted 19 more, so still early phases of this race with just 4 drivers having made their compulsory pit stop yet. Ryan Puchtel is leading. But just from the championship leader, Michael Polasek, comes out of Sunset Bend right behind. And directly in line behind. Kyle Robertson jumps from inside of the top 10, so he heads to pit lane, which is a long and wide pit road here at Sebring. with a pit speed of, I always forget how to do this conversion, probably about 45 miles an hour. Did he overshoot the box? I wonder if he just overshot his pit box there and had to find reverse, or it was a trick played on me, but he's getting his service done right now. Heading towards 27 seconds. A different angle will tell us that... No, it was the bounce of the car as it came to a stop. The pitch of the car. He takes 27 seconds of service as well, so that seems to be about the way to go. Kyle Robertson will come out ahead of the battle between Andy Cosick and Bill Woods. Bill Woods still remains behind. So it'll be plenty of clean air, at least for a couple of laps maybe, for Kyle Robertson up the road from these guys. Big slide exiting one there from Bill Woods. This is the race lead. Third and fourth just behind them as well. So no breakaway. Jared Collins second in the championship because of his consistent point scoring, that sitting in fourth place he looks to continue. The battle of the Aarons there. Smith ahead of Brown. Fastest lap of the race belongs to Ryan Puchtel at a 2:16.8. He's just on a 2:17.2. So pretty metronomic in getting very close to the optimal pace lap after lap. Johnny Sartorelli pits. Probably a reaction to Kyle Robertson. Tim Wire in as well. 21 minutes into this race. Starting to get a few more pit takers. Sean Fritz with a meatball flag. So he's towed back onto the lane there. In the bovine liveried machine, and well, that engine is being smoked. But it's not a slow smoke. I think that smoke's come on rapidly. Long stop for Sartorelli goes to 32 seconds compared to 27 for Robertson, and Tim Wire's just passing about 36 seconds. Gee, he's going to get jumped by a whole heap of cars. There goes Cosick, there goes Bill Woods, and obviously Johnny Sartorelli now a long way ahead of him. Lincoln Fox, slow down. Cut too much of it there. Furled black flag being shown to the driver in third place, the number 48 car. Does it clear itself? Is Collins going to have to make a dive into the final corner? Still there for the 48 of Fox. Goes wide, rides the brakes around the outside of Sunset Bend and drops back into fourth place. So there's a limit there, and it costs about a second or so to give it back. Last lap for Fox was a 2:17.2, now a 2:18.5. So maybe costing about 1.2, 1.3 seconds to cut that much of the corner. Aaron Smith and Ian Giebler and Alex Harrison pit. We can take a look at Joshua Socha. Too much curb. Bounces his BMW to the infield at Tower Bend. A few other drivers pitting. In fact, a whole host of drivers pitting. I called out three, but then Bowie Sue and Kyle Lockrow, Cameron Senhauser, Joshua Soto and Austin Zabrowski have followed them in. We might get a few more. I think I see Kevin Collins back there. Won't be Orlando Herald, though. He's always a chief fuel saver, so he stays out on track while others pit around him. Some cars going up on jacks, some cars staying on the ground, and I think the ones that go up on jacks are definitely having longer stops. So Aaron Smith is first to roll away from this pack. Alex Harrison looks like he's going to get a jump on a couple of other guys. Harrison is going to get a jump on Giebler and Suin and a few, perhaps. He's taken his pit stop and resumed in 13th. Now this is a race off pit road. Giebler just ahead of Suin. Suin runs a little bit wide on the exit of it. And here comes Bill Woods at speed towards turn 3 as this looks to sort itself out. Kyle Lockrow with a better pit exit will just stay ahead of Bowie Suin. Kyle Robertson's the highest running driver to have stopped in 9th. Your top 8 haven't stopped. And those are the only drivers that haven't yet, approaching the halfway point of round 7 of the ChampCar iRacing Series for 2025. This is the race lead, and these two drivers haven't pitted yet, and they are the net race lead, but Polasek's looking for the inside, so does that mean he's also going to be looking for pit lane? Polasek back in the lead of the race. Ryan Puchtel round the outside, and that's pitting in for both of them. So great timing from Polasek to just then lead into the lane, 0.6 of a second ahead. Fox and Collins follow suit, so will Ryan Carwile. I expect we're going to get everyone this lap around then, if your leaders are all coming in. Sarah Brown. So just Logan Senhauser and Orlando Herald, the other two that we might need. Fox up on the jacks, Collins up on the jacks, but I don't think Polasek or Puchtel are. No, Polasek is, Puchtel is not. Aaron Brown is not. So I think you're seeing sort of two-tyre stuff happening for a few of these. And that is a big win in the race off the lane for Ryan Puchtel. 26 seconds of service. Oh, but he's had a problem disengaging the limiter or something. Now Polasek's right all over him again. Puchtel had a weird thing leaving pit lane just then. Lincoln Fox has beaten Jared Collins out of pit lane as well. And now everyone is either on the lane or has made their stop. And Michael Polasek leads the race. So going into 3, Polasek took the lead. Ryan Puchtel's either playing some games or had a problem disengaging the pit limiter. Joshua Soto is just in behind Logan Senhauser. This is the outlap for Logan Senhauser. So he's just stopped. Joshua Soto stopped a lap earlier. Buy one, get one free on the breakfast buffet at the hotel. Coupon required, valid Monday through Thursday. Well, it's sunset, not sunrise, so none of those fans there are going to be enjoying that deal. So with all pit stops completed, a couple of big winners through the pit cycle will be Kyle Lockrow's jumped a few spots. And so is Alex Harrison. So Harrison's jumped Sartorelli and Giebler, who had longish stops. Kyle Kyle Lockrow, I think, has jumped drivers like Tim Wire and Bowie Sewin. Bill Woods, with his super early stop, has actually gained a couple of positions by virtue of how much clean air he had. He's just in behind Lockrow and Sewin. We ride on board with Bill Woods heading into turn 1. Kyle Lockrow just scrapes up the concrete on the apex of turn 1, so he's using the full width of the track here. Of these 3 drivers, Bowie Sewin actually has the fastest personal best. Joshua Soto goes down the inside on Logan Sennhauser. Didn't see how that played out. Soto has ended up ahead. So it's into turn 3. Soto in black and gold down the inside. And sort of out wide into the marbles there from Logan Sennhauser, who left a generous amount of space, perhaps too generous an amount of space. Oh my gosh, now it looked like Soto was the one to get a little bit of the marbles. Up front with the race lead, though, Michael Polasek and Ryan Puchtel. You never know where to look, and you never know when to look at the right times. Bowie Sewin's just gone into the wall. He saw Joshua Soto make a mistake. He got close, and then he made a mistake of his own just behind Kyle Lockrow and just in front of Bill Woods. Bowie Sewin spinning out of tower and into the infield wall. What's happening in the first half of this race, and we've only just clocked over into the back half. Michael Polasek's putting his foot down with a new personal best, a 2:17 flat, trying to shake Ryan Puchtel. 0.8 of a second is the race lead. Things are pretty hot 3rd and 4th as well between Lincoln Fox and Jared Collins. Remembering Fox had that slowdown. Jared Collins got ahead. Then a quicker stop from Jared Collins. Lincoln Fox back in front in the fight between these two. Oh, that looked like a mistake out of 7 for Fox. And sure enough, Jared Collins probably not on the preferred line heading into Cunningham here. If you're the right combination of brave and foolish, I suspect you could go around the outside, but he's looking to cut back over under. Probably won't work out and might need to just save this for a later opportunity. Fox holds on to 3rd, but they are now 5.5 seconds behind race leader Michael Polasek. Polasek not able to shake Puchtel. Puchtel's back to within 0.6. And approaching Le Mans we go. This ought to feed in. Ooh, okay, looks like Polasek runs a tiny bit wide there, and this should be a place where the slipstream's relatively powerful as well to let Puchtel just begin to close in a little more from what was about 0.8 at the start of the lap. Ryan Puchtel ends 0.6 back. 0.5 coming through Sunset Bend here. Carrying a lot more speed, trailing a lot more brake in. .72 seconds apart last time over the line, 0.53 this time. So Puchtel manages to close 0.2 back on Michael Polasek and keep this race-leading battle alive at Sebring. Turn 1's been the Achilles heel of Jared Collins a couple of times this race. Ran as high as 2nd and then lost a few, but negotiated it perfectly that time to keep the pressure on Lincoln Fox. Rear of the card moving around a bit for Fox. Jared Collins a little more planted in the traction zones out of 3 and 5, flat out in just about any car through 6. And when does the nose dive? Yeah, easily sort of 150, 200 feet before the corner for Lincoln Fox. Big, long braking zone for these cars heading into there. Ryan Carwile is space all of his own in 5th. So he's 5 seconds behind this group and then 5 seconds ahead of 6th. So whichever direction he looks, there's just a couple of seconds of clean air for Ryan Carwile ahead of Robertson in 6th. The Aaron battle 7th and 8th. Again, inseparable. Brown ahead of Smith right now. Brown had a quicker pit stop. Runs wide at Cunningham. Puts him on the wrong line going through this section. There's Bill Woods and Andy Cosick side by side. Tim Wire and Joshua Soto, 2 really quick guys just behind. Can't quite work out how it's going to happen. Through Tower Bend, around the outside, heaps of speed for Bill Woods. Dips a tyre into the grass. Camber didn't work how Andy Cosick would have expected. Woods goes ahead. Now Soto's side by side with Wire. And Wire, I think, will let Soto go. Now Soto thinking about diving down the inside. So Bill Woods is the biggest winner out of this. Andy Cosick with Joshua Soto behind. Soto's going to look for a wide run through Sunset. It's the kind of corner where if you've got a bit more speed than someone else, you just do the opposite of what they do. If they turn in early, you go around the outside and turn in late, and it might work out for Joshua Soto as he carries speed the long way around in sort of dirt racing terms, sort of ripping the high line, I think, through Sunset Bend to get himself the inside for turn 1, which is absolutely where you want to be. Looks like Logan Sennhauser might try to follow with him. We're just completing the move now down the inside of Cosick. Logan Sennhauser diving down the inside of 5. Not a conventional overtaking place, but I suppose it can work if your rival has been so put off by the moves in 3 and 4. The inside's where you want to be for turn 7, though, and that's where Andy Cosick has his car positioned. Cosick stays ahead of Logan Sennhauser. Gearbox for this race car is functionally the automatic from the road car in the sports paddle shifted mode. So it's dual clutch, paddle shifted. 10 laps to go at the pace they're currently doing. Michael Polasek 7 tenths ahead of Ryan Puckle. Jared Collins just ahead of Lincoln Fox. Collins faster on the last lap than Fox. I saw a meme the other day and it said, sometimes Taco Bell will put a tortilla, meat, cheese and rice in a new interesting order and you gotta go check that out and see what's going on. Which, fair, that's what they do. And apparently it's what Jared Collins is a fan of. as well. Might be a fan of Mountain Dew. 2. He'll be a fan of scoring on the podium. That's what he consistently does in ChampCar iRacing Series. Joshua Soto moves ahead of Bill Woods in this fight. Tim Wire just behind. Heading towards 7, and that's a super defensive car positioning from Josh Soto. And here's how. In 3. Oh, Soto on that angle, it doesn't quite work. So then round the outside, he tries to hold the outside through 5. On the tight line, it's also a bit of a wiggle from Woods. So that took a little while to sort out. Now into Cunningham, again a defensive line costs apex speed and exit speed for Joshua Soto. So his racecraft is successfully keeping in position, but costing him raw pace. Braking and trying to turn in from the grass doesn't work for Soto. He runs wide of the apex. Oh, and that's a spin and contact for Bill Woods as he tried to carry as much speed as possible out of Le Mans corner. He's done what many drivers have done before him, and the reason that they put tyre bundles on the inside, he's done a number on that car. That is significant damage. Exposes all of the radiator and intercooler locations for the BMW M2 as well, and has really damaged his car. So with 19 minutes left in round 7 of the ChampCar iRacing Series, the BMW M2 at Sebring International Raceway, we're predicting at this pace 9 more laps, and that has Michael Polasek with a very thin race-leading margin right now. Ryan Buchtel has cut this back significantly this lap, but this duo have pulled away from Jared Collins and Lincoln Fox, the battle of 3rd and 4th. But this, since the pit stop, is the most pressure that I think Michael Polasek has been under. Just a tiny, dangerous kiss with the grass on the far side of the curb out of Le Mans corner. But Polasek is using all of the track. Puchtel, though, so close, getting so much slipstream, down to 0.3 of a second, braking into Sunset Bend. Coming sort of shallow in, wide, then back to quite a late apex for both. Puchtel seems to like to take the later apex, and then Polasek finds that little bit of tiny hint of banking up against the wall on the outside of the corner there. How about a bit of side-by-side for 3rd? They're going to be a dead heat across the line. Lincoln Fox is on the inside of Jared Collins heading in towards turn 1, but that's a tight entry to a very fast and sweeping corner. The over-under can be successful here, but I think Collins has lost his bearing a little bit. Initially he was on a good line, but then he was way too tight on the exit. Lincoln Fox moves up and into 3rd. Alex Harrison's good pit work is getting slowly undone. Kyle Lockrose just passed him through Sunset Bend, and Ian Giebel is directly behind him, heading into turn 1. So, last lap for Harrison, 2:23. He's had a big problem. As it was a 2:19 for Lockrow and Giebler. Alex Harrison has lost, you'd say, about 4 seconds last lap. So he was just behind Sartorelli and he's lost the rear. Puchtel half a second behind the race lead. Ian Giebler, Alex Harrison side by side. Giebler was too deep on the brakes into turn 7, muscled Kyle Lockrow out of the way. Kyle Lockrow wasn't happy about it. It was square door-to-door contact. I got to imagine a mistake from Giebler, but a mistake that he still took profit from. So, not sure his competitors will accept that he's sorry about it. You can also see Joshua Soto and Tim Wire just behind. Those guys lapping in the 218s, while Giebler and Lockrow and these guys have been lapping in the 219s. So by this lap or the next, fully expect that Soto could be all over this as well. 3 different lines through Le Mans and onto the Ullman Straight. And on at the front straight, Giebler from Harrison, from Lockrow, from Soto, Tim Wire and Logan Senhausen not too far behind as Orlando Herrell looks to resume the race, and he hasn't fully repaired that car. He had a problem about 12 minutes ago after his pit stop that did some serious damage to his car. New fastest lap of the race. No, new personal best lap of the race goes to Michael Polasek. The fastest lap still belongs to Ryan Parktil, but Polasek showing all of his speed. Alex Harrison under pressure from Joshua Soto on the pit straight. Some contact between Lockrow and Giebler. Soto gets to the inside of turn 1, normally the place to be. Harrison takes some decent momentum around the outside, but then you've still got the outside into turn 3. And finally Joshua Soto moves ahead and back into the top 10. Leads back close again. Great lap from Ryan Parktil last lap, 2:17 flat, 2 tenths quicker than Michael Polasek. So Polasek had his PB lap, and now Pucktel is all over him, running wide out of the Lamore corner. This could be the race lead. Defensive positioning from Michael Polasek right to the yellow line on the Ullman Straight only offers the outside towards Sunset Bend for Ryan Pucktel as the two of them are absolutely dead even, nose to nose, heading into Sunset Bend. The inside line can work. The outside line can work. And with 11 minutes to go, underneath the Sunset Bend bridge, Polasek ahead. Pucktel trying to cut back on the exit of Sunset Bend to put more pressure on towards turn 1. Polasek still half covering the inside down towards turn 1. A switch to the inside late from Ryan Pucktel will look to take the race lead away, or at least take the fight to Polasek. Dead even again through turn 1. But if you can stay even through 1, you've still got the inside after the kink at 2 and the braking zone at 3. Around the outside, Polasek looks to swoop through and will hold the race lead when I thought Pucktel had him absolutely on the ropes there. But the lead battle continues on, with Polasek running a tiny bit wide out of 5th and catching some of the curb there. No, he won't get this race win easy the way that Ryan Pucktel is looking to race him. Third and fourth also still close. Lincoln Fox ahead of Jared Collins. Last lap, 2 seconds lost for Ryan Carwile, and Kyle Robertson's just been consistently chipping away at him. For a time, there was a 6-second gap here. But it looks like a top 5 is not assured for Ryan Carwile. With the pace and consistency that Kyle Robertson's had over the last 5 or so laps. Robertson was one of those early pitters. I think this is Joshua Soto, and it is. He leads Alex Harrison, Tim Wyatt, and Logan Sennhauser. Sun noticeably lower in the sky, orange tints and hues, but we're not going to be racing into the night or the darkness with the checkered flag just 8.5 minutes away. Second stop for Aaron Smith. Perhaps might have just underfueled it. Yeah, just takes sort of a 4-second splash. So perhaps a tactical error earlier on. Look at where he's going to rejoin the race though. Has to go around the outside here. Joshua Soto goes past. Alex Harrison goes past. And then here... Oh, okay. Joshua Soto runs it off the road. Then here comes Tim Wyatt and Logan Sennhauser as well. So Smith back in the race in 11th. And a move on for 5th place. Kyle Robertson looks like he's gone down the inside, but gone deep. Ryan Carwile cuts back. A slide from the both of them heading towards Tower. Carwile's racecraft keeps him ahead. Kyle Robertson's average pace has been quicker. You're going to have a lot of battles coming down to the checkered flag at Sebring for ChampCar iRacing Series. The battle for the win, the battle for 3rd, and now a battle for 5th. This is the battle for the win up there. It's the battle for 3rd right here. Slowdown being displayed for Tevon Kelvin, not anyone in the front groups. And this is the battle for 5th. Kyle Robertson now continuing to just try to put Ryan Carwile where he wants him, and that included Robertson sort of hanging back, opening up the corner more into Le Mans. Huge amount of straight line speed into Sunset. Similar strategy off Sunset. It's Alex Harrison with the freshly topped up Aaron Smith just in behind him. Smith will have the inside, about half a car length of overlap, takes the tight line. That's just a little bit the wrong side of the cones there for Alex Harrison. He's going to end up a bit wide in the exit as well. It's going to cost him some momentum. Great move by Aaron Smith back into the top 10. Tim Wire behind also looked like he lost his references and ended up in some weird parts of the racetrack. There's just so much pavement out there and so many lines that can work. And so for the 1,000 lines that do work, I think there's another 2,000 that don't through Sunset Bend, and every lap is a different adventure. Bit of traffic for the race leaders. Michael Polasek finds the headlight flasher button more confidently than a BMW driver normally finds any flashing lights. And he's only 3/10 ahead of Ryan Puchtel. The drivers know how long's left in the race. They'll know it's 4.5 minutes, and at this pace, it will be 2 more laps. They're doing 2:17s, so anything less than 4 minutes 34 seconds on the clock would mean only 2 more laps, and we're underneath that now. So this lap, then the white flag, then the checker in the battle for the race win, and all the other battles behind them at the moment as well. Passing the start-finish line, no white flag, expecting it next time by. Nary a car length between Lincoln Fox and Jared Collins as they also begin to approach a tiny bit of lapped traffic that I think is Tevon Kelvin. And how about the next battle as well? Robertson's got ahead, defending the inside of turn 1 against Ryan Carwile. Just trying to give himself a bit of space. Carwile's not giving up on this. The two of them touch just a little bit. Both stay on the racetrack. Robertson is positioned where I would want to be, the inside for the much tighter turn 3. And that does give him the position into 4, the right-hand kink. 5, the long left-hander. 6, hardly a corner, flat out underneath the bridge that accesses the infield. Just a big speed run up towards the braking zone at turn 7. Aaron Smith gaining another spot, so he's on fire. He's gotten past Joshua Soto and up into 9th. Soto's back down into 10th. Alex Harrison in 11th. This time out of Sunset Bend, they're going to get the white flag. Ryan Puchtel dives super deep on the brakes, looking for a really late apex out of Sunset. Tiny bit of lapped traffic for your leader as they start the final 3.6 miles of round 7 of the ChampCar iRacing series. Out front's probably where you want to be, and that's where Michael Polasek is right now, but only by half a second on Ryan Puchtel. Lincoln Fox with almost a whole second on Jared Collins. Kyle Robertson with only a couple of tenths on Ryan Carwile as they'll navigate turn 1. Tim Wyer's going to get by Alex Harrison. Harrison had a slowdown penalty coming through Le Mans corner very early on the brakes for Wyer, and Logan Senhauser nearly runs up the back of him. This final lap is going to be entertainment for all. Alex Harrison runs wide and looks like he's going to lose another spot there. The race leaders heading towards Cunningham corner have got Austin Zabrowski just in front of them. Less than a minute on the clock. White flag already waved. Checkered flag next time by for the race win, for 50 points in the championship. Both of them turning into Tower Bend from the curb on the outside, dropping down into the banking of a late apex at Tower. Now coming towards this complex section, Zabrowski looks like he's going to get all the way out of the way of the lead battle. Polasek will appreciate that. Puchtel will probably appreciate that as well, though he would have maybe needed a little bit of a wild card. Puchtel's looking for that late turn in, late apex, big speed on the Ullman straight, praying for a mistake from Michael Polasek, who doesn't make a big one, runs middle of the road on the Ullman straight towards the final corner in the final braking zone. The speed and the slipstream is advantage Ryan Puchtel, 2 extra miles an hour, but before he can close in the gap, the corner arrives, they brake and turn in, and Puchtel's again going to look for a later turn in, later apex. But I think if Polasek can cleanly get off the final corner, he'll take the win, but it'll be by a tiny margin, pressured all the way by Ryan Puchtel. Michael Polasek extends his championship lead with a race win of just 0.229 of a second at Sebring, and Fox is dropping back. Jared Collins finishes on the podium. Andy Kosick has not gotten a 5th. Kyle Robertson is going to lead out of Sunset just ahead of Ryan Carwile in a near photo finish there as well for 5th and 6th. Aaron Brown looks like he'll be the next, then Sardarelli, then this battle between Aaron Smith and Joshua Soto. Soto not with enough of a look to the inside on Aaron Smith. He's not going to run out of fuel after he pitted twice to take a little more. Senhauser ahead of Wyer, ahead of Alex Harrison. Couple more near photo finishes across the checkered flag at Sebring. This is Cameron Senhauser ahead of Kevin Collins. Oh, that's wide from Kevin. That's a slide from Senhauser. Keep it together in the final corner of the final lap, guys. And then the last cars left on the lead lap are Bill Woods, Sean Fritz, and Matt McGee. Bill Woods with some damage on that car. Sean Fritz blew his up earlier and fixed it. And we saw Matt McGee go for a spin earlier on as well. He'll be the last driver to take the checkered flag. There's 28 drivers present, 26 taking the start, and 20, I think, finishing on the lead lap. As everyone's crossed the checkered flag, it finalises, and Michael Polasek, the race winner, by just 0.2 of a second versus Ryan Puchtel. Jared Collins, I believe, passing Lincoln Fox on the final lap, either Fox with a slowdown or a mistake, or maybe running out of fuel. That battle went down to the final lap, as did the battle between Kyle Robertson and Ryan Carwile. Robertson qualifying 7th and finishing 5th. Aaron Brown 7th, Sartarelli in 8th, Aaron Smith in 9th with Joshua Soto in 10th. And then we find Logan Senhauser, Tim Wyer, Alex Harrison, Kyle Lockrow, Bowie Suin, Cameron Senhauser, Kevin Collins, Bill Woods, Sean Fritz, and last driver on the lead lap, Matt McGee. And then 1 lap down, Andy Kosick and Austin Zabrowski. 2 laps down, Tevon Calvin. Ian Giebler, 3 laps down. Orlando Harrell, 5 laps down. And Mark Kruger, 11 laps down. But critically, having completed 16 laps of the leader's 27, that's a classified finisher, which means he is still scored as going into the draw for that prize that will be drawn at the end of next round. Nick Love and Aaron Reed didn't start the race. Don't know for Nick Love, but Aaron Reed with technical problems with the VR headset that he uses to race, so he dropped out and didn't start the race after having taken part in practice. Well, let's see if our whole podium will stop by, and you bet they will. So let's go to 3rd place. Jared Collins joins me.
Hey guys.
Decent fight between yourself and Lincoln Fox. A lot of great sort of 2-way, 3-way fights all through the field, and yours was for the podium.
Yeah, it was great running with Lincoln. He raced super clean. He was super fast. We were faster than each other in different parts of the track, and entry versus exit. It was a ton of fun racing with him. Hats off to Lincoln. Glad to see him doing races again and kicking ass. So it was a lot of fun racing with him.
Yeah, certainly. So from your perspective, we were perhaps rightly most focused on the race lead. What happened on the final lap? We saw a couple of drivers picking up slowdown penalties. How do you think you got by Lincoln?
I think Lincoln let me by for sure. He pulled over and let me go. I don't think he had a slowdown. I think he just hasn't been running all the league races and let me go.
And we know not everyone's a fan of the BMW or how it races, but when you're going wheel to wheel with someone, the challenge of this circuit and the car, is it rewarding when you get it right?
It's definitely rewarding when you get it right. It's just, I was just saying it to Ryan and Michael Polsek. The window is really small, right? Like if you get on the brakes a little bit too hard, or the rate into the brakes are a little bit too hard, or you turn too early while getting into the brakes, you just don't turn. And so, when you're hot lapping and kind of in the flow state, I think it's really rewarding, but it's very aggravating when you step just a smidge over, and you don't turn. And normally, you can get on the brakes a little bit harder, kind of get some weight settled on the front, and that'll help turn it. And this car doesn't do that necessarily. Like once you miss the corner and you have weight transfer that's not fully what you intended, you just kind of understeer. So it's definitely rewarding, and when you're in a flow state and just nailing a full lap, it's awesome. But it's really kind of easy to miss, and that's extremely penalizing. It's almost like the Porsche Cup where you go a little bit over the edge, and you're losing a ton of time.
You've been an incredibly consistent points finisher this season. What are your goals for the ChampCar iRacing series and for real world ChampCar racing?
I'd like to give Polsek a run for his money at least once, kind of like Ryan did tonight. Just give myself a shot against him. Obviously, I'd love to beat Ryan in the points for second too, but I think those are kind of my my realistic ceiling is maybe giving Polsek a go and going head to head with Puchtel and hopefully coming out ahead at the end of the season. In real life, hopefully we'll get our car ready and we can race at Road America. It's been a slog. Doing a build takes a long time, but that is really rewarding when you get on the track.
Wish you the best of luck with that, and hopefully we'll see you for the next round of ChampCar iRacing Series, July 16th, Mazda MX-5 at Barber Motorsports Park.
Excellent. Looking forward to it.
See you there.
Yep, but
Third place joining us. Oh, what a beautiful pace car, the iRacing Ford Mustang FR 500S. We move up to second place. Ryan Pucktel joins us. Always in it for the fight, leading a couple of laps. What did you need on the final lap that you didn't find?
I didn't get the greatest run out of that turn. I think kind of overall I was missing a couple tenths in some corners. And after the pit stops, Pulisic really had some good pace there.
Speaking of after the pit stop, you actually had a pretty competitive pit stop time, but between the pit exit and turn 5, what happened?
Yeah, I think I was a little bit too cautious coming out of the pits. That's when Pulisic then overtook me. I thought I jumped him, but then just a little too cautious.
Well, it's rewarded with another podium finish. Any particular parts of the lap around here at Sebring that sort of presented a challenge, or where you thought maybe you had a little bit of an edge over Michael?
I think turn 1, I might have gained about a tenth on him. Maybe one other corner. But we were trading times back and forth, so it was pretty close.
I think you come away with the fastest lap of the race, if that's any consolation, and one of the closest finishes we've had for the win in ChampCar iRacing Series as well.
Yeah, it's always a good.
Well, hopefully we'll see you for next round. Congrats on second, congrats on the fastest lap, and congrats on the haul of points.
Thank you.
Race winner Michael Pulisic joins us. Plenty of company for you all through the 60 minutes of that one, but you were in the right place at the right time when the checkered flag dropped.
Yeah, this was probably the most difficult race of the season. A lot of that was just down to the car. I didn't have a huge amount of practice before this race, and this car is just so ridiculously hard to drive. You have to be so precise with your inputs, especially on braking, because if you brake just a tiny bit too late, you just go flying off into the distance and completely miss the corner. If you brake too early, you have to do a lot of brake modulation to make the corner. And then your brake release also just has to be perfect every single time. Otherwise, the car just goes straight and just doesn't want to turn. And trying to stay ahead of Ryan, he had a lot of pace today. It was really difficult. And we had a lot of really nice side-by-side action, especially after the fuel stop. And if that race went one more lap, he could have probably had it. But I'm glad that I got the run I needed onto the back straight and was able to just park it on the apex final corner and bring it home.
Saw a fair variation to the strategy. Some cars going up on jacks, some cars not. What do you suspect that those around you were doing as far as their pit strategy was concerned?
To be honest, I really don't know. Sometimes the sim will show the cars going up onto the jacks, and sometimes it just doesn't. So I'm not really sure what Ryan did. I don't think he took tires. I'm not really sure. I think in this car, there's like some tire wear, but not a lot. I'd have to do more testing to be sure it's not just driver error. But I don't think it made a huge amount of difference either way, taking tires versus not taking tires.
And in the end, pretty fine winning margin, 0.229 of a second. Just on the right side for you, though.
Yeah, it was a very close final lap, and it was just a matter of getting the run coming out of turn 16, going onto the back straight. And if I was able to do that and keep a gap of like 0.3, I could just simply take my time into turn 17, make sure I get a really good exit there, and make sure that Ryan had nowhere to go. And as long as I stayed ahead, regardless of the margin, that was good enough.
Well, past halfway of the season, you're the championship leader, and it's a month till we go racing again next time in the ChampCar iRacing Series. What are, we heard you raced at Watkins Glen. What else are you going to get up to? Where should people watch?
I'm probably going to be running the 12 Hours of Thompson in real life. That's going to be a lot of fun. I've driven on Thompson quite a few times, and packing like 60 cars there is going to be complete chaos, and it'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully I can do the Sebring race next week. I'm still kind of up in the air as to what I want to do for that. And after that, I'm not entirely sure what other race I'm going to be doing. Hopefully I can do a lot more this season.
Is it a bit of a commute to Connecticut from South Georgia and South Sandwich Islands?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm not entirely sure where that is. I just picked it because the name was funny, and it was one of the countries I always guessed whenever I gived up on Worlda, which is a Wordle variation where you're given, I think, an outline of a country and you have to guess what it is.
Well, we can all live in the illusion because I'm not going to Google it, but I'll tell you that Kyle Robertson's got the Jamaican flag to match his Jamaican helmet, and Joshua Soto's flying the flag of Antarctica. So plenty of options out there. But the most important flag today was the checkered flag. You were first to greet it, and you extend your championship lead.
Yep, it's just a matter of keeping up the wins and just staying consistent week to week.
Well, Michael Polasek, congratulations, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you very much.
The race winner joining us. What a battle he had back and forth with Ryan Pucktill as the championship remains alive. 7 races completed and 5 more to go. The next is Wednesday, July 16th, Barber Motorsports Park for another 1-hour race. You'll see it live on ChampCar Live and HJBC channels. It's never too late at any point in the year to join us on track as well in the ChampCar iRacing series. If you are an iRacing member or aspiring to be an iRacing member, forum.champcar.org. Helpfully, the iRacing section is actually right at the top of the forum, or you can find us on Discord and on iRacing. We'd love to have you part of this, and also keep in mind, get your teammates ready, get your teammates primed. The Enduro season begins November 1st as a team endurance event once the main season wraps up. We'll see you next time, July 16th at Barber Motorsports Park. It's been David Haynes with Michael Derby from HJBC, bringing you round 7 of ChampCar iRacing Series live from Sebring. Michael Polasek is the winner.